it all happened inside this home on DeSoto Avenue early Thursday morning. Sheriff's deputies say the couple's two young kids, just 2 and 4, were inside the home at the time.
It's a very sad situation.
Investigators say before a 30-year-old man shot and killed his 31-year-old wife inside their home in Ypsilanti Township, the couple suspected an attempted home invasion earlier in the day.
So he's a little bit on edge, goes to sleep, thinks his wife is next to him. When he wakes up, again, sees what he thinks is someone who's in his home, grabs his weapon and pulls the trigger and he shoots his wife.
First, investigators say the couple's 4-year-old called 911 and said their mom couldn't breathe. Then the husband took the phone.
Caller's now stating that his wife had been shot. Caller thought she was a burglar and shot her in the chest.
But it was too late. His wife died of her injuries. Sheriff's deputies in Washtenaw County believe this was a tragic accident, one that's shaken this quiet neighborhood.
I was so shocked. There's police cars all down the street. There's tape, detectives.
I figured it had to be homicide. That's usually when they put up the tape, you know.
The man was taken into custody following the shooting. Other family members are temporarily caring for the kids as sheriff deputies investigate.
It's scary. I feel sorry for the children.
That man has been released from custody, and at this point, no charges have been filed. It's unclear if there was any home surveillance inside the home at the time, but we did notice that there's a camera on the outside of the home. Sheriff's deputies say that's all going to be...
Oh, guys, how completely tragic was that news clip? Look, I don't share that because I want to point out what somebody did, how they messed up. Recently, I shared a video, news story like that with some other data about a law enforcement officer that was killed by a homeowner accidentally. I got some messages from people, hey, you're helping ruin this person's life. I got to make sure you understand this. We share these videos and this type of information because we can learn from it. This family's hurting enough. We're not trying to insult this person. We're not trying to put him down. His family's hurting. Let's not go there. But here's the thing that I want you to think about. That type of incident that we saw here happens across the country daily. Somebody is shot daily that didn't need to be. It might be a child that gets mom or dad's gun. It might be a situation like this where a loved one, neighbor, somebody that was not an actual threat was perceived to be. There's a lot going on here, guys. This is a training issue. It's a mindset issue. It's a forethought and planning issue. At the end of the day, who tells you when to pull the trigger? You do. When you're shooting at a target and you miss, you missed. The gun didn't miss. When you are shooting in the general direction of human beings that may not be bad people, it is incumbent upon you to know what's behind your muzzle, what is going to be catching that bullet. Nobody else can control that but you. The gun manufacturer can't control that. The ammunition manufacturer can't control that. The guy that makes your red dot or your sights can't control that. The person that taught you can't control that. The only person that can control who pulls the trigger is you. Only you have that decision-making ability when your sights or dot or you index onto a target. Only you decide to pull that trigger. Nobody else does but you. You must have this decision made long in the future that you will be completely responsible for who these guns point at when that trigger gets pressed, who they point at in any context. In order for somebody to accidentally or negligently to be shot, in order for that to happen, you have to have a loaded gun pointed at them and you must pull the trigger. That's a lot of things that must happen. Again, we're not trying to add any more injury to this family because it's got to be terrible. But what we can take away from it is that in our training, we don't shoot at shadows. We don't shoot at movement. We don't shoot at things that we have not identified as a threat. If we do this, our job protecting our life, and just as important, if not more important, our loved ones and family, is never going to end in this type of tragedy. It's sad. Learn from it. Identify what's out in front of your gun, and remember that only you decide when that trigger gets pressed, nobody else. All the bravado, all the fast draw stroke from under your t-shirt, all the cool drills, all of the badass guns and gear do not give you that decision-making ability. They don't somehow make that magically appear. You train that in, you decide when to press your trigger, and more importantly, have a plan with your spouse. Have some communication skills discussed, especially for when stressful situations arise. Think about what you're doing. Train yourself to live. Train yourself to live well, not just to be good on the range. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Be well. The target, fingers on trigger, 1, 2, 3. That's very good. Holster up.
Well, this is the main one. Getting it.
Where's that tape? Tape this right. Yes.
Vendor.
I mean, that to me is pretty impressive.
When they shot it, they made it jump forward, and I think I put it right over the top. I'm trying to like get the very edge.
All right, let's draw out. Fingers on the trigger, and go. Well, still in there.
That's a rip.
That's a chunk of ball.
Can we do this with ballistics gel as well?
That's a rip. Is that the rip? Is that the at the end? Let's see.